Okay, so please take note that this presentation is purely for educational purposes. It does not take into account specific investment objectives, financial situation, or particular needs of any particular person. Okay, so disclaimer, that's it. So now, what's happening in the market right now is, if you look at the fundamental side of things, is spookily, sorry. Is this such a word, spookily? Okay, it's very spooky because it's so quiet. Okay, it's really, really quiet. I mean, if you look at volume, um, really low. Let me just show you this Bloomberg article that I have over here. Okay, you can see that if you look at this is the 20-day moving average for volume across all US exchanges, really low. They're lingering at this support level since 2015. If you look at any stock that have sorry, if you look at S&P daily percentage move, the last 1% move was all the way early in July 2016. This big bar is 1% and the rest of the bars are all below 1%. So really stuck in a range. If you look at other charts like volatility, you can see that it's below the average. Okay, for volatility is on vacation. If you look at things like the Deutsche Bank FX Volatility Index, is also lingering near the 2-year low. Okay, so everywhere is pretty quiet. So just be a bit careful in terms of liquidity. I mean, there are still trading opportunities out there, but just be a bit more careful. All right, especially in terms of if you plan to hold longer term positions, be a bit more selective. Me personally, I'm taking a lot of intraday kind of setups for the past few weeks, just because of the volatility. Okay, so again, how I cover the markets is simply based on price action. I think I showed you these slides many times. But basically, what I'm trying to do with every chart I look at is I'm trying to categorize it based on uptrend, downtrend, or consolidation based on studying swings. And normally I trade only based on trending markets. Okay, today I will give you a bit more examples. Remember I told you like every session of every webinar I'll try to cover a few trades that I took either the current week or the previous weeks, and how it turned out and what's my thought process, because I want to impart my thought process and my trade planning skill to you rather than just tell you you know what will go up, what will go down. All right, they say it's better to teach you how to fish than just giving you a fish, isn't it? Sounds very cliche, but it's really true. All right? Trading is very independent. All right, don't ever think that you can rely on a trade signal or you can rely on somebody's trade call and just follow it. Okay, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's very personal because a lot of psychology is involved when it comes to trading. Okay, so moving forward, let's go to the markets. Okay, so let's start with the S&P, the US indices. So this is a weekly chart of the S&P 500. Now, I mentioned 2 weeks ago that I'm not a fan of trading the US indices because there are a lot of divergence ahead, and if you plan to trade it, then you might want to look for intraday setups and get out once it hits a certain level of resistance to the upside. So you see, I drew this little thing 2 weeks ago. So the trade plan was basically let it pull back close to the previous resistance, turn support anywhere near 2150, and take it up again. Okay, it has happened. It has happened. So the weekly chart is still an uptrend. There's no divergence. But if you take a closer look on the daily chart, okay, you can see that 2 weeks ago we identified that there was a bearish divergence, because if you look at the higher high, see the circles I drew? So higher high, higher high, higher high. However, if you look at the MACD, you can see that it's forming a series of lower highs. So not surprisingly, it started to turn around to the downside. And right now, it's just stuck in a range between the 2190 level and somewhere near the 2160 level. Okay, let me just zoom in a bit. All right, which is why I was mentioning in the beginning, do not, try not to hold longer term positions, because right now there's some divergence here and there, and it's just very range bound. Okay, how I would take the S&P in terms of a trade plan is, I will only trade it on extreme levels. If you like to trade range bound, the extreme levels being this level here around 2160 and around the 2190, or I will be patiently waiting for it to break either levels. If it breaks the 2160 level, okay, you can look to short, maybe you go back to next level support around 2130. So However, if it breaks the upper levels, then you can just take it up to a next level whole number. All right, the tricky part by trading a lot of these US indices is that it's on an all-time high, so there's no reference point when it comes to resistance levels. So you just got to use whole numbers. Okay, so if it breaks a new high, then you can target 2200. But let me tell you something. I mean, I mentioned this many times. I spoke to a lot of clients, a lot of traders, and every time an S&P makes a new high, people just don't seem to believe it. Okay, but it just keeps creeping higher and higher and higher. Okay, if you miss the boat of buying it, not that bad. But the worst thing is that if you try to short it, and now you're bleeding because it just keeps making higher. So it's very, very frustrating, isn't it? So fundamentally, it might not make sense to you, but technically wise, the sentiment, it is what it is. Just follow the charts. That's what I always say. All right. Because you look at the weekly chart, it's still bullish. It's still very much bullish. Okay. I mean, so for me, the US indices, keep it shorter term. All right, intraday. You got to take the factor that liquidity is very low as well. Okay, so whether new highs can be sustainable, I'm not sure. So just be a bit careful, but follow the charts. Follow the charts. Okay. If you look at the Wall Street, same thing, same story. If you look at the this is Dow Jones or Wall Street weekly chart, you can see that it is clearly on a nice uptrend, breaking the previous resistance around the 18,200 levels, making new highs. Weekly MACD, there's no divergence. Looking at the daily chart, all right. So same thing, 2 weeks ago, we identified that there was divergence. You see, compared the two highs here and the highs here. So a lower high on the MACD, a higher high on the price. There's a bearish divergence. So not surprisingly, it came down. Okay, support level for Dow Jones around the 18,003. Resistance is around the 18,006. So just be a bit patient. All right, just be a bit patient. Because if you look at the shorter term charts, right, if I show you the 4-hour charts, it does not really look good. Okay, whenever I see a big swing down and swing up like that, it really gives an indication that the market does not really know what it wants to do. Okay, so instead of trying to force the market as a retail trader, we should just go with the flow. Okay, so if I see charts like that, normally I'll stay out of it. I'll just stay out of it. Okay, because there's no point trying to fight the market at all. Okay, try to go with the flow. All right, which is why I love trading. I mean, I do a lot of meditation and things like that, and a lot of Buddhist teaching or meditation teaching is the same thing as trading. You got to accept. You got to accept the present. You got to let go of the past. You know, and all this really helps in terms when it comes to trading. All right, it's easier to go with the flow rather than resist something, right? Or they say go to the path of least resistance. So that's what trading is all about as well. Yeah, exactly, George Soros. But maybe now he's a bit too old to do anything. just saying. But yeah, I mean, Soros is one of those really interesting characters. You should read his a book about him. Very interesting on how he played the part in the Asian financial crisis in 1999 and how his hedge funds performing and things like that. Yep. Another hedge fund manager that you should look out for is Ray Dalio. I mean, Ray Dalio is a very popular, I mean, he's a very successful fund manager, and he practices meditation as well, if you are into such things like me. Okay, you can see how he, what he does and things like that. Very interesting. Okay, so, yeah, exactly. All right, so that's the US indices for you. Nothing much on the horizon. I would say best if you trade on the extreme levels, the support and resistance. If not, try to stay away. You really don't want to get burned. There's nothing much showing. Okay, so that is S&P and Dow Jones. Let's go to the other part of the Western world, which is DAX. Okay, DAX looks much better. Let me tell you why. Now, if I show you this weekly chart of the DAX, okay, I like the DAX because it shows a nice breakout of this little channel consolidation. Key level is around 10,005. And if you look at this, there's a reason why I drew this little direction. I drew this the past 2 weeks, okay, and I left it there. Okay, so my trade plan was that it broke a new high, and you see this green candle. This is considered a really nice breakout candle because candle close, full body green candle. It shows that the bulls are in charge. And the trade plan is let it pull back to the scene of the crime, which is the resistance, then support, anywhere near the 10,500. Once it hits there, go to short-term charts, wait for a change of trend in short-term charts, plan a trade to go long. And that's what exactly happened. Okay, so this what happens that 10500 it rebounded, and now let's see whether we can make a new high. All right, let's see whether we can make a new high. If you go to daily chart, any of you caught this long trade? So if you go to daily chart, sorry, I got choked. So if you go to daily chart, you can see same thing. It came back exactly to the 10500 that I mentioned, started bouncing up, and now it's pushing higher. Okay, for those of you who are eyeing this level to buy and put your price alert there, one way you could have entered is if you look at the 1 hour chart. Okay, let me zoom out here. So we all know from the daily and weekly chart that this 10500 level is very important, is it? And you can see that the market was flirting around, sorry, was flirting this level for a couple of days, for almost a week or so, a week plus. Okay, I didn't want to do anything. So one of the trade plan, if you're a bit more aggressive, is that you could have taken a cheeky buy and put a low stop around this area here. Okay, sometimes the downside to that is that little swings or spikes like that might stop you out, but that's part of trading. Okay, or to be more conservative, you could wait for a breakout to the upside, like where we are right now, and took a long position somewhere here. Okay, so if you look at the 15-minute chart, okay, the 10500 key level is somewhere here. So you see support here. There was a bit of resistance here. Let me just zoom out a bit here. Okay, so you can see that this is a 15-minute chart. So I'm just teaching you how to plan an intraday trade based on the higher term time frame. Okay, so some of you could have taken it here. This happened actually, when was it? Today at about London Open, 5 p.m. Alright, this was quite a decent setup as well. Alright, and then you took it higher, and now it's trying to find its way higher. We'll see what happens. Okay, but on the daily and weekly chart, it shows pretty nice bullish price action. Hopefully, it will go to around the previous high, and this for those of you who took the breakout today, that will be your first profit target. Okay, and you look at the daily and the daily chart on the DAX and the daily chart of the S&P, you can see quite different, because if you study the previous swings, right, you can see that the price made a higher high and the MACD made a higher high as well. Okay, so no bearish divergence, unlike the S&P and the Dow Jones. And right now it's trying to push higher. Okay, it might push all the way back to 10,007, 10,750 or so, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, but it looks good to the upside. Any questions? Any question on how you can take the trade and the analysis? Okay, if any questions, please type in the question box. A webinar is only effective if you interact with me, because it gets very boring if you just one-way traffic. I always tell the regulars here that, I mean, when I attend webinars like that last time from FX Street or whatever website, right, my attention span is only 15-20 minutes. I then I'll fall asleep. Because it's so boring, just hearing the person talk, and unless my voice is a lady or something, then maybe it sounds more interesting. But I mean, just hearing the person talk and seeing charts can be quite boring. So just ask me as many questions as possible. Okay. So that's the DAX for you. If you look at same thing for the CAC, Funds 40. Okay, so Funds 40 doesn't look as good as the DAX, but if you look at the weekly chart, okay, yeah, it doesn't look as good as the DAX at all. It's weekly is still very sideways, whereas the DAX is on uptrend already. Daily chart still sideways. There might be a push to the 4500 area. You can see this resistance 450 very strong, so there might be a push towards there in the next 1-2 days. Looking at the lower term time frame, right? Okay, you can see that this is a 4-hour chart. Okay, really nice uptrend. Okay, and what I like is that it's as rebounded from this level of resistance. Okay, so this is a 15-minute chart, sorry, not 15-minute chart. Okay, he's rebounding from this nice level of resistance around the 4450 level. Okay, so intraday trade plan like that. So you see, if you look at the daily chart, right, if you're planning, let's say a swing trade, let's say a longer term trade, you can see that there's not much direction. So meaning that if you're taking a swing or position trade, there might not be a setup yet, unless it breaks a new high above 4540. But that doesn't mean that there's no intraday kind of trade plan, because if you look at the 4-hour chart, okay, there is actually a quite decent trade plan. If you manage to see that it just made a new higher high here, see? So this was the previous high, right? Okay, and so it just made a new higher high here. Okay, nice bullish looking uptrend. Okay, breaking up, and it seems that it might make a push towards the 4500. And if you go to lower term time frame on the 1-hour chart, all right, you can see that very nice bullish momentum, and is acting. It might react off this 45 4450 level. See this level? Okay, so your first profit target can be the previous high in the 4470 also. Okay, so there are still some intraday trade plans for you to take. Even the daily and weekly does not look that good. All right, so that's a CAC for you. Let's move along to the Asia side of things. Let's go to Japan. Yes, John, that would be scary. If it's a guy face, lady voice. But you guys can't see my face, so let's see Japan. All right, if you look at the Nikkei, right? Firstly, look at the weekly chart. All right, still stuck in this consolidation. Nothing much to look at because it's been stuck in this range since July. Key level to look up for is around 17,000. If you break 17,000, then high chance you might move to the top of this channel at around 17,600 or so. Okay, there's a weekly analysis. Daily time frame very sideways. Nothing much to look at. Okay, if you look at the resistance around the 17,000 this year, okay, it might make a push 17,000. In fact, it looks quite similar to the CAC 40, isn't it? The France 40, because for this case, it might make another push close to 17,000. Okay, so let's see the 4 hour and 1 hour, see whether there's any setup. Yep, the 4 hour seems to be quite decent. So intraday wise, if you were sharp enough, you can see that the 4 hour made a higher high here, and it broke all these previous highs. So it broke this resistance level. You see that? And if you were able to catch it, you might be able to catch this pullback here, and you'll be riding it maybe to the top near the 69, 17,000 area. Okay, but the 4 hour has changed your trend to the upside. Even though the daily has not much direction, it seems that you might want to make a push to the previous high around the 69, 17,000 level. Okay, so again, quite similar to the CAC, that there was an intraday trade plan. It's gone already. It has happened, I think it was about 1, 2 p.m. today. Okay, but right now it's trying to make a push. For now, there's no trade plan on the Nikkei because he has made a push from the support, short-term support already. Okay, but you can see the lower time frame, like for 1 hour, 4 hour, making a reversal to the upside, and it shows that it might want to make a push to a daily resistance around the 16,009, 17,000 level. Okay, so Raja, for intraday, which time frame is good? Well, for intraday, 1 hour to 15 minutes for execution. For analysis, I would still suggest starting from the top down, like daily or even weekly, daily, 4 hour, and things like that. I mean, the way I look at my charts are always based on my charts that I have on my screen is always daily, 4 hour and 1 hour, and then that's where I will plan to see whether there's any opportunities. So sometimes, even though the daily chart might look mixed, right? If you look closer, there might be some kind of opportunity. Okay, thanks for the question, Raja. Now let's see. Okay, sorry, I forgot to add something, Raja. The main thing is that if you are using a top-down analysis approach, don't leave too much gaps. So for example, if you look at daily chart, don't try to execute on a 5-minute chart. It's a bit too far. Okay, try to look at more charts in between, and just understand that, you know, for a daily direction to change, it will take a lot of movement on the 5 minutes. But the 5 minutes can move up, down, up, down, up, down before it will follow the daily trend. Okay, so don't have too much of a gap in between the time frame of your analysis. Okay, so that's Nikkei for you. Moving along, Hang Seng. Hang Seng looks bullish as well. Okay, if you look at this was a daily chart, right? Where were we? I drew this circle because that was when 3rd August, 11 August. Yeah, so I drew this circle because 2 weeks ago we were somewhere here, this circle here, and ideally I would like it to have pulled back all the way to, where's my drawing tool? Ideally, I'd like it to pull back all the way to this level. Okay, because of this previous touches here. Okay, but it didn't. It just make a quick touch and then shot up. Okay, so this one got to be a bit more alert to have caught the pullback. But it looks very bullish. Now, right now where we are, I don't think it'll be a good place to get in on the long side already. So let's take a look at the weekly chart. Yeah, to me, it looks a bit overextended. A bit overextended to the upside. Let's see if there's any resistance here. Yeah, you can draw a line here. Let's see. Yep, just a bit of resistance here. Okay, but if you look at the daily chart, right? I think around the 23,300. Right now, there's just not much meat left. Okay, there's just not much meat left. So if you're looking to a long side, you might have missed the boat. And price has made a higher high here. You see, higher high. Let me just draw this for you. Okay, price has made a higher high, very nice high high. However, MACD has made a slight lower high to double top. So this I would say a slight bearish divergence, which means most probably we might start consolidating here. Okay, maybe back to this support level here, and then maybe push up again. Okay, so that's the daily chart on the Hang Seng. Let me take away the drawing tools. Okay, if you look at the 1 hour chart, yeah, 1 hour chart is a bit sideways. It has started pushing up. Okay, it has started pushing up. Okay, but the resistance is around here. Okay, so right now nothing much to Hang Seng, just got to play and wait. Okay, because it's in this range, unless it breaks the high here. Okay, but the high is around 23,150. Yeah, around 23,140, 23,150. Okay, right now there's really nothing much to do. It's just approaching a new high. Not much meat if you're long as well. Okay, so just be patient. So the Hang Seng is on a daily uptrend. Most of the charts are uptrend. I would rather go long than short. Some client might ask, what kind of short at the 2340 level since you say resistance? Well, you can, but it's a bit higher risk because it's counter trend. So just be mindful of that. Okay, I seldom trade counter trend trades unless there's a big move and the moving average is really far away and is in a key resistance or support level. Then maybe I might fancy counter trend. But for this case, the uptrend is still intact. Daily moving average is still very much close to the uptrend. So just be careful. Okay. So that's the Hang Seng. Let's see. Any other index that you want me to cover? China A50. Okay. China A50. Okay. So this is what I drew 2 weeks ago. Obviously, it did not really bounce up. So let's see what happened in China A50. Okay, China A50. So this is a bit of a tricky thing. Now, it is an uptrend. Okay. It has made a high somewhere. It's a weekly chart. Slight high on this little area here compared to this previous high and compared to all these highs as well. So a nice high. Okay, and you can see it made a series higher low. So it is on uptrend. All right, but I want you to take a look at this candle, this bearish pink candle. Okay, you see this bearish pink candle here? Not the best looking candle, isn't it? Because it shows that the conviction is not there to push it through as compared to the Hang Seng. All right, you see this candle here? It's a bearish pink candle, so just be a bit careful. So what I'll do for China A50, if you have a trade plan to long side, right? Okay, is now right now the daily chart. All right, the momentum, when was that? The momentum early August was really nice. Nice breakout to the upside, broke the resistance, and then it started coming down. Now, this area here, all this resistance and all this, okay? What I like about this area here is that there's a nice bullish pink candle at the support level. Nice bullish pink candle at support level. So the trade plan is, there's a chance that you might try to long based on this support level with a low stop loss and take it up at least near the 10,000 level. Okay, of course it can break higher is another thing altogether, but I'm just concerned about the bearish pink candle on the weekly chart, remember? But that does not mean that there's no intraday kind of trade plan. Okay, so what I like is that there's a bullish pink candle here at the daily support level. All right, let's see whether the 1 hour 15 minute is turning around. So if you look at the 1 hour chart, right, you can see that there's some form of inverse head and shoulders. So what you want from the 1 hour chart is that if there is a break, yeah, you're right, John, the 1 hour 15 minutes is very choppy, okay? Now, you see the inverse head and shoulder here is a reversal sign to the upside because it was in the downtrend on the 1 hour chart. Inverse head and shoulders, so shoulder, head, shoulder. Now the neckline is a bit tricky because of all the shadow. So the 9800 is certainly a resistance level. If you can break a 9800 resistance, that will consider neckline. And if you can break that, most probably is going up towards the 10,000 level based on the daily chart analysis. Okay. Some people can say the neckline is this trend line here. Okay, this one's a bit more gung-ho. Now, the aggressive entry is where you would have taken a long at the shoulder level here. Sorry. Of course, that's the aggressive level, the aggressive entry. And on hindsight, it looks easy. Okay. But if you want to be a bit more conservative, I would either let it clear this trendline resistance or let it clear the 9800 resistance first. Okay. And all this is based on the daily trade plan. Let me go to the daily chart. All right. So you see how I use different time frames to my advantage. So Sorry, let me just okay. Sorry about that. So you can see the daily chart is reacting off the support level here. What I like is that the 1 hour chart has shown an inverse head and shoulders, so there might be a reversal coming up. If it breaks all this resistance around 9.8, high chance you might go towards 10,000, and then from there just be careful because we might not make a new high. We might not make a new high simply because I'm just a bit more worried because this is weekly bearish pink candle at the resistance area. Alright, so the trade plan will be more of an intraday kind of trade plan. Okay, is that alright, Mr. Lim? Cynthia, crude oil and USD index. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let me leave that to the crude oil. I'll leave it to the last part. Okay, USD index. Maybe I'll cover. I'm not sure that I have the instrument here, but I'll cover it during my FX section. Yeah. All right. Any more indices before I move on to FX? Going once, going twice. Okay. Let me take a 10-second pause before I move on to Forex. Yeah.